Okey, bagi membincangkan mengenai isu ini, bersama saya di studio ialah Friedel, iaitu pengarah urusan UTI Worldwide, itu sebuah syarikat logistik yang turut beroperasi di Malaysia, dan welcome to our studio.
Good evening.
Dan turut berada di talian ketika ini ialah Duta Delegasi Kesatuan Europa ke Malaysia, Vincent Piquet, yang hello, Your Excellency.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening, Your Excellency. My first question would be, what are the effects of this crisis towards the Malaysian and Euro trade?
Fortunately, the effect of the ash crisis is limited. The bulk of the Malaysia-EU trade is transported by ship, and in volume terms, it's roughly 99% of our bilateral trade, which is therefore not affected by this crisis. It's only niche products, high-value products that are transported by air, and typically you're talking about very sophisticated machinery, about electronic parts, and the logistics sector, express parcels, for instance, are transported by air, and these sectors are affected. Products are not perishable, so the products remain available, but there is a delay in their delivery, and of course that causes economic impact and economic cost for the operators.
Your Excellency, even though that this is niche, but yet still there are other problems, such as our businessmen from both sides. We cannot, travel to each other's country, even though we have, telephone or we have internet, but yet still we cannot present at the given states. But however, in the future, how do we manage this crisis if there's any volcano eruption again in Europe?
Well, the natural disasters happen, and they will continue to happen, and nothing can prevent that. The only thing we can do is work on disaster preparedness and on risk reduction. And what we're doing in the EU is work on four areas of work. First of all, get a better scientific picture of the problem, on how volcanic ashes affect aircraft engines, how they affect the fuselage. Right now there was a sense that there was no unambiguous scientific evidence on this side, hence the EU countries took rather drastic measures by closing basically the entire airspace of the particularly northern European and Western European countries. Precaution prevailed, and we can't compromise on safety, and clearly if we are to err, we'd better err on the side of caution.
All right, Your Excellency, I hope you're going to stay at the line at the moment, because we're going to talk to Mr. Friedel here. So currently, 20 to 30% of the shipment of your client shipment supposed to be shipped to the Europe via airlines, air cargo. So how to what extent are the impact of the crisis towards the business?
I mean, we can see here in Malaysia and in Europe that the warehouses are full. We can't help the clients a lot at the moment. We try to ship cargo by truck to the southern airports in Europe, and then fly it out to Malaysia, and even the same way back from Malaysia, going to southern Europe, and then truck it all over Europe.
If we can calculate all the loss, how much it will be?
It's difficult to say at the moment, and when we talk about losses, that would have been my question towards His Excellency. Is the EU planning to help the airlines with their huge losses they've done over the last couple of days? Because we see airlines now putting all the cost back to the clients here in Malaysia and in Europe through higher rates. Is the EU helping there somewhere?
Your Excellency?
Well, clearly there is a severe impact, particularly in Europe. It's right now impossible to put a figure on it, but it's very evident that companies are losing money, and that the rail and road transport network, however developed it is in Europe, it can't replace for air travel altogether. Now, the EU has certain rules for state aid, and of course, in a situation like this, what one definitely is going to look at is to relax those rules a little bit for firms that are due to force majeure, due to circumstances totally outside their control, would end up in severe trouble or would not survive. So that is something that the EU countries will be discussing in the near future. But first of all, we have to get back to a situation where we can resume air travel under responsible conditions. For that purpose, we're setting up better information sharing between the air regulatory authorities in the EU. We are also trying to help, of course, the passengers that are stranded in airports, both in Europe but also in other parts of the world, including in Malaysia. These people, of course, have very severe private problems, miss private obligations, they have extra costs. They miss the weddings of their children. They sometimes have missed, of course, have been in sad situations where they were not able to be close to their sick or deceased loved ones. So that's what we need to look at first. The EU embassies, also in Malaysia, are trying to help as much as they can in those areas.
All right, thank you, Your Excellency. Now coming back to Friedel. Well, basically, some say that this crisis would be more serious than the 9/11. So basically, how would you foresee, because this gives such an impact to the logistics industry worldwide, and in the future we cannot prevent this from not happening, right? Of course, no. if you have a crystal ball, then everything will be solved. But yet still, how do you manage this problem in the future?
We as logistics companies, we have to set up task forces that can act straight away if we face another crisis like this, and prepare plans to help our clients to move their cargo as fast as possible. As His Excellency said, there is no way that we can predict what's going to happen. It's the question, how fast do we as the logistics industry react to those situations? And when I look at all the companies here in Malaysia, I think we've reacted quite fast. We keep our clients constantly informed about the situation, the airports that are closed, and so on and so forth. That's the only thing we can really actively do, because we can't change the conditions in Europe.
Well, is there any parties particularly that oversees the welfare of the logistics industry?
I mean, we have the AFAM, the Air Freight Forwarders Association.
So far, what's your effort? What's the action?
They help us with additional information that we can relay to our clients. They are in contact with the airlines constantly and keep us all informed so that clients can make educated decisions what they want to do with their cargo, whether they send it sea freight, keep it in their warehouse, or sourcing from other countries here in the Asia region.
And how about your clients? How would they manage this problem?
So far, our clients have been quite lucky. Only a couple of clients really are in desperate need of their cargo, and they source now locally in the Asian region.
And thank you very much. Thank you very much, Eric Friedel, iaitu pengarah urusan UTI Worldwide, dan di talian sebelah tadi iaitu Tuan Vincent Piquet, iaitu Duta Delegasi Kesatuan Eropah ke Malaysia. Dan kita teruskan dengan berita selanjutnya. Perbadanan